I used to feel so.
What's good, YouTube, man? It's K-Skills back with another video, and in today's video I'm gonna be giving you guys some tips on how to get better at Valorant. Now, without further ado, make sure that you like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. And for the first tip, man, you gotta get out there and get to learn those agents, man. I understand you may not be able to main that agent because it is in beta and you might not have people around you who are willing to play other characters so you can play your character, but just get out there and try to work with all the characters so you understand your teammates in those agents. But the main four types of agents are Sentinel, Initiator, Controller, and Duelist. And I'm going to get into what they do right now. So the Sentinel is defensive experts who specialize in protecting the team flanks and supporting team fights. The Initiator is supposed to specialize in challenging the angles of gunfights and giving your team the advantage when pushing positions on the battlefield. Controller, pretty evident, but he controls the battlefield by blocking lines of sight and locking down areas for the team. Now the Duelist, main damage dealers on the team, and they should focus on using abilities to frag enemies and get early eliminations. So make sure that if you pick someone, you're playing to these play styles and contributing to your teammates. Because if you're just playing as one of these, say you're playing as the controller, but you're trying to play as a duelist play style, just may not work. You have to work with your teammates on this one, which is actually pretty cool because all characters go together and they help each other. So that's actually a pretty cool aspect in this game. So make sure that you guys are learning those agents because they're very important. And for the next tip, I kind of put 2 in 1, but make sure that you guys are playing slow and communicating with your team. So when I say play slow, I mean play slow. You can't just run into the open not knowing where everyone is and just get shot up. Because say you're playing as a Sage, the only healer on the battlefield, and you die, then there's no healing and now it's a 4v5, if you understand what I'm saying. So make sure that you guys are communicating and trying to use those abilities to check areas and make sure that they're safe to go in, or even smoke things off so no one can see you so you guys can push forward, if you understand what I mean. So I main Sova, and Sova has a recon arrow. So if I can communicate with my team and be like, do you guys want me to shoot a recon arrow and make sure it's clear, the coast is clear, so we can go and push forward? And that's those plays that you need to communicate and play slow in, because let's all get it, we all do thirst for kills. It happens sometimes, but sometimes that kill is not always worth it because you could die, and then when you die there's no coming back unless that Sage is still alive for a res. So make sure that you guys are communicating with your team and playing very slow to try to get a smooth win. And when you guys are defending, man, you guys should be playing even slower than the attackers, man, because the attackers are actually the ones who are on time. They're trying to rush and plant that spike or kill all enemies. So if you guys are playing slow and tactical, you guys can practically win the round. And for this next tip, this goes out for everybody, especially those players new to keyboard and mouse. Make sure that you guys are practicing that aim, man. That aim is pretty crucial in this game. And if you guys want to practice it, Valorant actually offers a pretty great shooting range. Actually, I've used myself and it helped get my aim a lot better. And it also has an in-game feature where if you feel your sensitivity is too high, you can lower it while in the shooting range. So make sure that you guys head over to the shooting range that's built in Valorant. And if you feel like that's not enough for you and you need to practice more aspects of your aim, download Kovacs, man. Everyone knows what Kovacs is, even like CSGO pros and Fortnite players. They all know what Kovacs is. You can download Kovacs, but actually Kovacs is a paid option, where rather if you don't have the money for Kovacs, I would reckon you just use the shooting range and try to work with what you have. Another thing that I want to talk about that goes into it with aim is that a lot of you came from Call of Duty or either Fortnite, where you're running and gunning, and that's not what Valorant is. If you ever want to shoot someone, it's better if you stand still and shoot, because your recoil won't be as outrageous as if you're running and gunning. Because when you're running and gunning, that recoil is actually very outrageous, and that's something that you shouldn't do. And another thing, you can also crouch, and that won't even be as bad as running and gunning. So make sure that you take those steps into consideration if you feel like your aim is ever off. Adding on to things to reduce your recoil, man, make sure that you guys are tap firing in those certain situations, because tap firing actually can be very useful, such as long range combat when someone's far away and they're just firing at you, but you're tap firing, which is actually reducing your recoil and allowing you to hit more shots. Another thing that can help is if you're ADSing, man. ADSing is only good in those certain situations though, because if you guys don't know, when you ADS, it changes your recoil from when you're regularly firing. So you gotta make sure you play smart and you know when to ADS and know when not to. And for the next tip, man, make sure that you guys are buying and spending wisely. With that being said, man, make sure that you guys know when to run a save round. If you look at everyone's credits and like, okay, we're all low on credits, let's run a save round, buy low tier armor, low tier weapons, so next round we can be all geared up. That could actually be a smart play and help you win the game. Another thing that you guys can do is steal and save, man. So many of you may not know that when you steal people's weapons after they're dead, they roll over into the next round if you are alive. So if you guys get a team wipe and everyone on your team is still alive, you guys can scavenge those weapons that those other players had because they may have a better economy and better weapons, so you guys can steal those weapons and they roll over with you till the next round. So that's actually a smart play that you guys need to remember. Another thing, if you see a teammate with like 12,000 credits, which is actually the max credits you can hold in a match, and he's being stingy, man, just budge him a little bit and tell him, yo, can you buy me this? Because at the end of the day, it is a team game. So making that play to where to buy or not buy is actually pretty crucial, because one of those teammates may have some cash saved up to where they can buy you if you request it. But if you're not checking those things out and looking and checking out, they may not buy you because you're not requesting, if you understand what I'm saying. So make sure that you guys look and see who has the most money and check things out like that and see who can buy who what and see who needs anything, because that's actually pretty crucial to you guys winning the battle. Because if not everyone's geared up for battle, say someone's rocking a Vandal and another kid's rocking a pistol, who's gonna win the battle? It may be the pistol kid if the pistol kid has some cracked aim and hitting headshots, but end of the day, that Vandal is going to win. So make sure that you guys are buying your teammates what they need and not what they want, if you understand what I mean. So keep it to what they need and not what they want, so you guys can win that game. And moving on to the next tip, and for the last and final tip, man, make sure that you guys learn those maps, man. There's 3 different maps in Valorant and all have different angles and different playstyles. So the names of the maps are called Haven, Bind, and Split. So make sure that you guys are getting in game and actually playing on these maps, because once you play on these maps, you get to learn the knowledge and know where everything is and see how different players play, to whereas when they play on different maps. So you guys know those angles and what you guys need to work on when playing on different maps. So make sure that you guys do that. And adding on to that, make sure you guys understand how the map might force you to play and understand where height is and where heaven, everyone calls it heaven, but understand those angles that people can be playing at. So when I say make sure you understand the map advantages and disadvantages, you gotta know that some maps are heavily pushed towards the attacking side, such as Haven. For example, Haven has 3 points of sights where the attackers can attack, which means 3 points the defenders have to defend. And you may think it's hard, but actually it's so close together that the defenders can move around quickly and get to those sites as fast as they need to. So you guys got to understand that that's a disadvantage for the attacking team. So make sure that you guys understand that when playing. And I think that's it. I think we covered everything in today's video. If you guys want more, make sure that you like and subscribe. I will be making more of these if I see that people like these, and I'm just here to help out. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe, and that's it for this video. Peace.